What's up, man? How you
What's
doing?
up, man?
Yeah,
Chilling.
good. I appreciate you coming on, man. And
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
yeah, I've been really enjoying a lot of your live streams, and just gives a lot of different perspectives, a lot of fun, and I'm like, we got to get you on here and talk a little bit more about it. And
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, hey, man, it's something that I kind of thought about doing for like years and years and years, and then I don't know, something like last year, me and Goofball were talking about. We're just like, yo, let's just try it, man. And
yeah,
then we've been doing it ever since. So yeah, super dope.
yeah. No, it's been cool. Like I said, just and it pops up randomly. I don't know if that's some are obviously planned out, like the Red Bull ones that you've been part of, and other ones it's like, hey, I'm just gonna pop up and cover this one. Is
Yeah,
that kind of how it is?
it's kind of I try to keep it like to a schedule, but man, life happens sometimes, and I'm just
Yeah,
like, if I'm free for it, like I try to do like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday thing, but Fridays usually get packed up randomly, and then like Wednesday, like this something like this will happen, and I'm like, do I need the live stream? Not really. Like I'd rather do this, you know what I mean, than like do a random live stream that I can do anytime that I want to, you know what I mean? So
right.
it's like trying to keep the schedule at the same time. It's like it's not my career to do it or anything. So I
Yeah,
never feel pressured to do it or anything like that.
that's great. What made you want to kind of start doing more of them? Because I know it's kind of, like you said, it's been busier since and
Yeah,
getting the opportunity.
I think like at first it was kind of about uh, building like an audience, kind of like it's really awkward to like just go on there and then see that like I know people say like, oh, don't see anybody that's watching, never look how many people are watching, but like,
Right.
I go on there, it's like I don't want to sit there and like talk to myself and like like go
Yeah.
back to it and be like, yo, like my girl will watch or something, and she's like, you're talking to yourself, or that's like, it's like I don't feel like, At first, it was kind of like, am I going to be comfortable doing this or not? But you know, I think with the help of Goofball and like I think he kind of helped me get into it and then get the comfortability of like chatting with people and like watching something at the same time, because usually it's the same thing where I'm like, if I'm watching like breaking, I think a lot, so
Right.
I watch the technicality from a lot of people,
Mm.
and I like to like kind of digest what's being thrown at me
Yeah.
versus like chatting to the side and missing a whole entire round. So I had to kind of get used to that as well. But yeah, I mean, ever since getting used to it, it's just I want to do it more and more. It's fun to do. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I feel like if I was doing it before, like I would when I was like, I don't know, years and years ago, when a battle would happen, I'd go to my friend's house and we all sit there and watch, and we just talk and like bust everybody's chops about what's happening. And I
Right.
figured, we have the internet and like we have the platforms now to do this on, and I
Yeah.
figured why not do it with the world now versus like just two or three people. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's it's really dope, man.
Well, and you're so respected in the community, not just in breaking, but outside, just for who you are, not just your dancing. So I think anybody that ever meets you, including myself, throughout like this whole community, is automatically just kind of like, there's some people. Everybody's got their own personalities, but you're always welcoming. So I think that's what really intrigues people to come on to your live streams. They feel like I'm actually hanging at the house with DOMkey. Do you feel that way as well?
It's weird, man. I don't like. I'm not saying you're like the only person that's ever said this or anything, but me and Toys, we like to say like we always say like we're nobodies, right? Like
uh,
not saying like we're nobodies, but like at the end of the day, like we're all human beings. We're all here to break. We're all here to dance. Like nothing I do makes myself any higher up than somebody else. Like, yeah, I could have, I've done like BC1, I've done the bigger events and everything, but like, does that make me a better person than like the next dude? Like, I
right.
think something that stuck with me from the beginning of breaking to especially where I'm at right now is, um, I don't care how good of a dancer you are. Like, I don't care if you're amazing, because some of the most amazing dancers I've met have some of the worst attitudes, the worst egos to be around. At
Yeah.
the same time, some of the worst dancers I've ever met are some of the like my best friends and the nicest people I've ever met. So it's
Right.
like, yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like dancing is just part of it, like it's
Yeah.
just it's something that connects us all together. Like I don't really hold anybody above me. At the same time, I respect my like the peers and the OGs that came before me and everything. But like me myself, like I just see myself as a normal kid still. Like nothing special. So
Yeah.
it's always like crazy to hear things like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's genuine coming from me, just because, like I said, it's interesting to from a perspective. I'm a dancer. Not a lot of people know it sometimes. Just because I'm behind the camera, I'm filming, and it's like you got to go there, and then you got to like, edit, and you got to leave. You know how it is with like Stance
Yeah,
and a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
these people. It's like you want to chill and stuff. So I understand it, I guess, from the perspective of me as a dance media, and being out there and observing, and being at the after parties and stuff. And like, again, that's just what I've observed with what your live stream has done, and just who you are when you're going to an event and like, oh yeah, there's DOMkey. Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, I
So
appreciate it too, man. It means a lot when to hear stuff like that. I feel like because sometimes I think like especially with the live streams or like talking to people in person, I feel like sometimes I could come off kind of rude if I'm talking about certain situations about like I don't know, like biting or something. Like
yeah,
something was just brought up about biting, and like if I'm talking about it, it's never meant to come off as like I'm like trying to be rude or something about it. It's
right,
more about this is my personal, like, this is my personal thought, like anything I say, I'm never telling anybody, you have to listen to me. Like, I'm the person you should be listening to. If you're not listening to me, you're an idiot. Like, I feel like a lot of people come off that way that are like, that kind of have a higher voice than I do. And
right,
I don't know, like, personally, like, I got into breaking because it was something that I didn't have it. There's no rules to it. Like, I mean,
yeah,
there are rules, like, but
right.
the
There's a lot of
box
freedom
is,
in it. Yeah,
yeah, there's so much freedom.
yeah,
And I didn't have a boss that like told me what to do. I didn't have like higher ups like at the time that were like, yo, listen, I know what you're doing right now, but like, yo, that's like, you gotta like change your style up, man. You gotta do this. Like, I did have people that did that talk to me like that. At the same time,
hmm,
like I knew better and was like, that's cool, man. I appreciate what you're saying, but I gotta go my own way, and that's just how breaking is, like,
yeah.
um, but yeah, man, it's like it's kind of crazy.
So what was that moment, just to kind of dip it back? Because I want to say I was watching an interview earlier with my homeboy Anthony Ambrose from Urban Media, like back in
Mm.
the day when you came, I
Oh
think, to Utah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
a long time ago.
yeah. And he did an interview. That intro was pretty fun.
Oh man, that's I look
Signing
back at
those
some of that.
autographs.
I look back at some of that stuff, and I'm like, man. And by the way, that's not me like doing that, right? It's usually the people who are like with the camera. They're like, hey man, let's have you do this, and I'm like, all right, man, let's just do it.
I thought that was your idea, man. So I was like, yeah, this is kind of like him being
No,
funny,
no,
because
no, no, no.
you are, man.
No, I'm usually cool with like, I mean, me and my crew, like, we're always down to have a good time. Like, we're always
Yeah.
like down to like just for the jokes, man. Like, we're never
I
like
mean, you
too
got a guy named
serious.
Goofball in it, so come on, man.
Exactly, man. Like, yeah, like how professional can we be?
But yeah, just going back to that, give me just, for perspective and people that maybe don't know your story, what was kind of like your first instance with breaking, and then what was like the thing that really propelled you and like, all right, I'm taking this. I know you mentioned in that interview your mom really didn't understand it, but you're like, yeah, I'm just going to keep going with it. So what was that first instance, and then what really pushed you into breaking?
Yeah, I guess like so when I first started, it was in middle school, and I I just remember like I didn't really have like any good hobbies or anything. I mean, I had a bunch of friends that were into like gaming, anime, like all the like the weeb stuff kind of.
Yeah.
We just really I didn't really have any like hobbies like that, and at the time like I was going to these like teen dances, and I remember there was this game called Buster Groove that was out, and
Yeah.
it was on like
Throwback.
yeah, yo, it's still like I'll every so often go back just to listen to like the music from
The
that game
music.
because Yo, just because it's
Right.
still, I don't know if it's because like I loved it so much as a kid, but like it's still so good.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, getting in watching that game and like I think like one day in middle school it's like rolling around the floor. It's doing like the Homer Simpson, you know, where he's like on the floor just spinning around.
Right.
And some girl, Doris, I still remember her name. I haven't seen her in forever. I still remember her name though. I actually reached out to her like I don't know, like 5 years ago. It's like, yo, I'm just
Nice.
letting you know, like I haven't seen you in a long time, but because of what you said to me, like it kind of sparked this up.
Yeah,
But
push you. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, she was like, oh, you're breakdancing. I was like, what is breakdancing? I don't know what breakdancing is. She's like, yeah, you're probably really good at it. I was like, all right, cool. Dived
Yeah.
into it a little bit. Um, at this time 56K modem like internet was around, so like I
Right.
went to like breakdance.com, which was like the only thing that was out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like the only way I could like learn was two ways. One was like breakdance.com, which was you clicked on a move, which was like the windmill, and then this GIF file pops up. But that GIF file took like an hour to load, or like 10 to 15 minutes to load up a GIF file. Like, you know, you just
Oh
press on your phone.
yeah.
It's like a really badly drawn GIF file.
Come
And
on,
with a
Juno. Come
description.
on, Juno.
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah.
AOL. Let's get it going.
And yeah, I so like I learned, you know, like trying to learn that way. It was really hard that way. I found the best way was to get VHS tapes and play them in slow motion and kind of like work around that. So
Learn.
like
Yeah.
yeah, so like I had Battle of the Year 98, Battle of the Year 99, Tribal Circles 98. Um I watched some videos. My one of the guys around me actually, my brother's friend in high school, he had a group of people that I used to go and break with when I first started, and he
Okay.
would let me borrow his VHS tapes, and I would bring them home and watch them in slow motion, like on my VCR. And yeah, I would learn moves that way. Moves took a lot of power moves took a long time for me, like at first, but
Right.
it's. But anyways, I was like the break dancer in my middle school, and you know I entered talent show, and like I was on the stage, and everybody's like, do a head spin. I had like half of a head spin, but everybody loved it still.
Yeah.
It was
Right.
it was like good motivation from my middle school, to be honest.
What's
And
that?
then
That typical middle school is where you jump through your leg and then jump back through it.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah. And
oh
everybody's like going
snap.
crazy. Like, oh, yeah. And then I think like, you know, my mom was also like kind of like she was like, oh, he has something fun to do. Like he has a good group of friends that he does it with. I met
Yeah.
like my first crew at like a teen dance thing, YMCA teen dance thing.
Nice.
Um, and then as soon as we got into it, we started battling. And then getting into battling is when like I started meeting more people. So I started like I lived in the suburbs of Philadelphia. So I never lived in
Okay.
like the actual city of Philly
Yeah.
when I was a kid. So we would always drive to Philadelphia for their practices, for any of the big jams that were coming up. So like I was raised by people. Well, the first studio that I went to was with Zeno Zine and Cricket.
Okay.
They both owned an apartment with a dance studio in their place, like downstairs from it. So
Oh,
we
that's
would go
dope.
to it in Philly, and like that's where like everybody would go to practice at. So like I grew up with like them guys like being like the high guys, where I'm like, well, these are like the kings around here right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Who you're looking up
Yeah,
to? Right.
yeah, yeah. And then I just had a good group of guys who like kind of like took me and like the younger guys around. Like they drove us to places. Like luckily my mom was like okay with everything, and like she wasn't
Yeah.
like too scared about me going out with random people. But they yeah, and then like from there we like just started battling, and you know it was a lot of like this is just how the scene was like growing up around at least our area was, oh, these are just the kids, they're only doing it as hobbies, like they're not going to be in this for more than 2 years. I remember
Yeah.
like some event promoter told me that some of the like higher dudes in Philly were saying this. And I was like, well, that sucks to hear, but like, you know, it's like it's bad, but it's good motivation to like push you and be like, I'm
Right.
gonna prove these guys wrong, right?
Yeah.
So I really just dug into it and like really practiced hard, and like really dug into like listening to like my higher ups and hearing about like what separates everybody apart, which is why like one big thing to me that still sticks out is like the creativity and the originality in the scene, and like having your own style, and like that's what separates you from everybody else. And to
For
me,
the Philly scene or worldwide?
for worldwide, I mean,
Okay.
I think back then I wasn't really in touch with a lot of the world because one,
Right.
we only had VHS tapes really.
Yeah.
And two, it's like if we did see stuff like this is when like B-Boy World was like the B-Boy World forums and the freestyle session forums were like popping, and like you could see like clips from around the world, but it wasn't like today where it's like I can go on YouTube and type in B-Boy and see the latest videos that were posted up, and there's like 20 videos uploaded in one day.
Yeah.
I think that the amount of content today versus what it was back then is just like night and day.
So this is like early 2000s, mid 2000s, maybe.
Yep.
Okay.
And I think like especially around that time, you know, I think I wasn't winning jams yet, but I was getting like higher up there.
Okay.
And we got invited out for, I think one of the first big push was a exhibition battle that we got. We didn't even get flown out to. We were told, hey, we'll pay for your gas money. And we drove to Michigan.
Oh,
so like,
nice.
yeah, it's like.
Is this Lions of Zion, or is this your other crew?
No, this is my
LOZ?
Crew way before Lions of Zion.
Okay.
And I think that push was really big for us because we're like, yo, we got invited out for an expo, because expos are huge back in the day. Because it like really pushed your name out there and like gave like some light to you. And it kind of was like you're somebody in the community if you're being invited out for an expo.
That was the social media, man. I mean, that was
it really
being
was
able to go and witness all these vendors and all these DJs and MCs and like just the whole thing, and being at it was just you can't replace that feeling. It's so, because, and what you mentioned too, sorry to cut you off, but you had mentioned something about they lived upstairs and then they had a studio downstairs, which is different from me. I grew up in San Diego, and ours was like a parking lot party with a bunch of souped up cars, and then ciphers just ended up happening. But for the East Coast, like to me, I'm like, man, that would be such a dope experience to have some spot, because that's the East Coast life, you know, the Northeast kind of thing. So
yeah, I think I mean I feel like there was spots like it was really like random. Today it's mostly studios or like school gyms or something that people can have like access to. But then it was like I had that studio for Philadelphia, but at the time, like in my area, I was breaking in like the parking lot of the preschool across the street, or I was breaking in like the parking lot of like another school, and we just would throw linoleum down on the floor and like that's it. It's a wrap. Like let's just practice there. So yeah. It's like I feel like it was like mainly outside practices, which are like, again, like to me it's a different feel for an outside practice than an inside practice.
But then going to an expo like you did in Michigan, it's like, wow, man, like am I in a movie?
Yeah. You feel that like sense of like, oh, like people know who I am, like that they, even though nobody knew who we were, but it's like a sense of like, okay, we can, like we're doing something right if we're like getting invited out for an expo. And then we did the expo, we did good and everything. And then after that expo, it kind of started kicking off after that, where I was invited out to my first expo in California in like 2004 against L10. And then, from there, it was like, it just kept blowing up. So then I was like invited to judge in New York somewhere in like northern New York. And like, then from that, I remember like, these are just like highlights that are like sticking in my head. I got like invited to France in like 2006. And I kept telling them I'm down to do it. And I didn't have a passport, and I don't know, man. I was just a lazy kid back then, and I just kept skipping it. And then finally I got out of the country in like 2007, 2008 to go to Bulgaria to judge. But other than that, like, sorry, I'm like jumping way ahead.
No, it's great,
like,
man.
The LOZ guys. So quick about LOZ is, me and Toys were like the kids back in the day. We were like, I don't know, we had to be like 18, 16 or something.
Okay.
We were invited to do an expo at these hot import nights. I don't ever remember the hot import night shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like, I guess kind of still around, but they were huge back in the day over here.
Right. There
But
was
they would
just all
have
this
like,
culture clash, man, of like and one street ball, hot import nights, like these expos, like it all just
yep.
kind of clashed together, and it was just natural. It was like, yo,
Yeah,
respect,
yeah, yeah.
respect,
It was
respect.
really dope, and there was a
Yeah.
lot of people there, man. Like, I think that's one thing I miss today versus what it was kind of like when I was growing up was the amount of people that just came out to like the car shows to chill and like the actual events to chill was like giant. It was so many people
So
versus
many.
like,
Yeah.
and I mean, not to dive too deep into it, but I'm pretty sure it's because we have an event like literally every single weekend now
Yeah.
versus like
Yeah.
it was like every 3 months back in the day.
Right.
But yeah, me and Toys, we would like we got invited to do an expo against each other because like I was the kid from like the Philadelphia area and he was the kid over from Virginia area.
Mhm.
We battled, we did the expo, and then we ended up just teaming up for the 2-on-2, and we won the whole thing. So then we were kind of cool with each other. So then I went out to another one. We ended up winning that one out there. So then me and him just started like just kind of destroying not to sound like cocky or anything, but
Yeah.
we were on one for a while out here in like our area.
Right.
And there was one event, it was a 2-on-2, Toys couldn't make it. It was called Crafty Bastards. It was in DC. The winner got 2 plane tickets out to whatever event you wanted to in the USA. And I was like, okay, man, let's do it. Let's enter. Toys didn't come. So I was there. I was like, all right, I'm not going to enter. And my friend was like, yo, man, just enter by yourself. And I was like, okay, man, whatever. So I ended up winning the whole thing by myself. I was like, cool, I got
Wow.
2 tickets. So me and Toys at that time, B-Boy Hoedown in Texas was huge. And
Huge.
I was like, yo, man,
Huge.
Toys, let's just go to Texas, man. Let's just go try to win it. I mean, we're probably not gonna win it because it's our like first like West Coast event, like entering out there,
Yeah.
but whatever, man. So we went out there and we ended up winning the whole thing out there. We battled El Nino and Lego in the semis, and I think Free and Orb in the final battle. And we won that. We're like, yo, this is crazy. And at this time, I was done with my old crew. Like, just, dance drama stuff. Not diving too deep into that, but yeah, just a bunch of dance drama. And LOZ, the Lions of Zion guys were asking me to get down for a while now. And I was like kind of putting it off for a while, but then like me and Toys were just always battling together. We were always chilling together. I was like, you know what, man, let's just do it, bro. And I got down around like 2007 with them. But at that time they had like Ghost or they had Goofball already. I think I'm pretty sure Isaiah was in before me. Toys obviously was in before me.
Okay.
But we're the second generation of Lions of Zion. There's a whole generation before us because Lions of Zion started in 96, and that started with like Ghost, Noob Saibot, Solstice, Scrambles, Golden Child, LT, and they were like to me like they were like at least the East Coast, like when it comes to like originality, like Lions of Zion, Ground Zero crew, like over here was like to me personally, they were like I want to say like most original, but they were definitely like to me the ones that stuck out really big in my head, like growing up.
Right. And this is what area is this, like Philly down to DMV, or like what area does Lions of Zion kind of?
Oh, it's mainly the DMV, but I'm literally the only one from like Philadelphia.
Okay.
Yeah, it's for me to get to the DMV is about an hour and a half drive, so it's not like that bad. And I was literally out there. Technically I was living out there for a couple of years. But before I was out there like every weekend, just entering jams and like doing like judging gigs and workshops and whatnot. But so I got down with them, and then from there we kind of just, that was like a whole nother level. That was like the next step of like breaking for me, of like I was already like into it, but then that's like okay, now we're like in the midst of like, building something huge up with breaking, I think around that time I started like getting a feel of like the way I wanted to go in breaking and like what my goals were going to be. And like, you know, I was in this for like the long run. I was actually what, like eight years into breaking by that
Right.
time. So yeah, it
Right.
was, that was a big change for me.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I remember specifically freestyle session there in LA. That was the one where the twins came through and with the freestyle battle, and then you guys were battling Still
Oh,
Brat Renegades.
yep.
Yep. And so that was kind of like one of my first. I had obviously seen you guys before, but just being able to be there in front and just watching you guys and the way that I felt like, yeah, it was a battle between the crews, but there was so much like fun and creativity between both of the crews that it just made that whole setting like even better. And I believe that was also when Stilo was able to get up on stage and dance again after
Yep.
his so like
Yeah.
the whole event was just so hype. And I remember what, like a couple months ago, resharing on our Instagram here that clip. But because there's just, and I had to pick and choose, I'm like, okay, do I go with Casper or like, because it was just it was a fun
Nice.
battle.
Yeah, I'm glad I
Yeah.
won it. So I won that battle at least.
Yeah, no, but
But
like again,
yeah,
like being
that's
able to witness that battle was, again, it goes back to what we talked about of being at an expo, being at the hot import nights. Like YouTube, was going, but it wasn't as like as it is now. So like still being at an event, you were like, wow. So
yeah.
I think that's why, just circling back around with your live streams, you bring that aspect to allowing people to be like, hey, yo, we're just chilling, watching this battle, we're talking about it. And I think that represents who you are, So.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of it's really hard. Like before I was doing these streams, I was actually watching like a lot of the live stream battles and everything. And it wasn't, again, like when I post stuff up sometimes, it's not meant to come off as rude, but it's like I posted something about like you just don't have that energy about being at a battle versus like watching these live streams, right? So I was trying to think about like, what is missing? Like besides like being there in person and like seeing and like feeling people's like energy, like what are we missing? And it's just like, well, I know like going to a battle, like I'm usually sitting down in the crowd and I'm chit chatting with like my crew or like just some friends that are over there. I'm like, yo, like why not just stream and like do this? Like why not have a jam at home with like friends? Like obviously it's not jam, but it's like the closest thing we can have to like watching something and like having a good time while we're watching people do this, but yeah, that is one of the reasons why, I started doing it was like, watching live streams aren't the same as being at a jam. So it's like, how can we kind of get it closer to the feeling for like with the current like COVID situation going around, like how can we get this closer to the feeling without actually being there? Or it's like overseas that you obviously can't be there or anything. So
yeah. No, again, that's just kind of what I feel like people, when they see you dance, it's kind of like that same feeling. Like they feel like they're a part of it because of, just your funk, your style, like the power, like, and that battle for me is something I always go back to because it was such a revolutionary clash,
Yeah, it's crazy because like we were when we go, we're usually like jokesters, right? Like we usually like we just like to have fun, and like if we're up against people, not saying we don't care, but like we will like make fun of people, like just to like be like we're a different type of attitude where if we know we can like give it to you, like we know we're gonna like kind of pick on you, not in a bad way, but we're not going to be this hard style b-boy where we're like tough and we're like cursing at you and whatnot. Like we'll show our confidence in a different way, and we'll like laugh at you and be like, yo, what are you doing? And we'll make you just look stupid versus like, actually like trying to curse at you and like act, because we're not like, I'm not sitting here and being like, I'm a tough boy. Like I'm a little short white boy. Like I shouldn't be going in like, my real life, I shouldn't be like acting like I'm a tough ass, like I'm gonna beat somebody up or something. I like we are who we are while we battle. But when we got
Yeah.
to that battle at Freestyle Session, that's kind of where you'll see us at our most like serious point, and you'll see like we're not the like joking type, because we know where we stand with them, and we know like we kind of got to go hard at the same time. Like we're going to be respectful because these guys have been doing it for like a long time in the scene, and like we want to respect their styles as well, you know? So
Right.
when you see us like that, it's almost like a respect thing, like back towards them, where it's like we're not here to joke with you, like let's have a good exchange and like leave it at that, you know? Because I feel like a lot of people sometimes just talk a lot, like and sometimes people in the background talk too much too, where it's like, guys, there's no reason, if you're not battling, there's no reason to sit in the back and like jump in the middle of the circle, or like, you know, like I personally don't see the reason for cheerleading if it's like, if you're not battling, like, yo, just respect the battle that's happening, and like that's it, you know what I mean? So like we try to do the same with our side as well, where it's like, yo, if we're gonna have a squad with us, like sit behind us, everybody just be respectful as well. It's a battle, like just chill. Like now if it's a cypher battle, the rules are off, you know, like it's whatever, but it's competition, man. Just chill, let the battle happen, and let the exchange go on.
Yeah. So we got somebody that has a question. Looks like SK_Roach1. Quite the
Hey, what up,
name.
Roach?
Do you intend on streaming to be like a big time thing, job for you possibly? And who are the B-boys, B-girls you like to watch these days? Love you.
Thanks, man. Do I plan on doing this for like a job kind of thing? I don't know, man. If it kicks off, maybe. But for now, I'm just, you know, it's the reason why I'm kind of just chilling, and like, I'm kind of just doing it right now just to do it, right? If something happens from, because right now within the year, man, it's been great. A lot of like people have been reaching out. Like we've had people from Red Bull hit me up. Something else I can't really talk about right now, but if one happens, you guys will know. But yeah, a lot of like the break free guys, like monster guys, like they've been hit, like been supportive of it. Like within the year, like a lot has happened. So it's like, that's motivating for me to keep going with it. You know what I mean? Like, again, like I have a normal job, so it's not like if this doesn't work out, you know, like, or I'm really pushing for this to work. Like if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I'm still gonna stream. I'm still gonna have a good time. Like the community's already there in that platform with me. Like everybody there is already chill enough for me to like just keep doing it. So do I plan on doing it? If it takes off, yeah, man, it'd be great. I would hope it would, so I could like just chill with everybody all the time. But if it doesn't, you know, I'm not gonna be mad or anything. And my favorite B-boys to watch, I don't know. I mean, there's a huge range of people, man. I can't really say like there's one person or two people.
Was there a favorite stream so far that you've done that you really enjoyed? Or battle?
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, the last BC1 USA Cypher that we just did, I think it was because I had like Goofball and Mario with me. But like, you know, that was the stream to be on, because like I'm basically switching over to Twitch mainly because like there's a lot
I'm
of
usually
like,
watching through YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on YouTube still, but it's so iffy that I can't guarantee everybody I'm gonna be on there forever, because it's the hard thing about breaking and streaming is the copyright with the music issue, because
for sure,
like I can't put fake music, you know, over top of the battles because it literally defeats the purpose of you know, watching a dance stream. So it's just really tough with it. So I don't know how long YouTube is going to tolerate that, which is why I'm like, hey guys, Twitch is a little bit cooler right now. Like, but that stream actually, we had a bingo board up, and we had like polls on there. So like, if you watch the stream long enough, you start to get points on Twitch. And once you get them points, you can start betting. So you would see people like betting on the battles, and then like people being like, oh, this guy's gonna win, oh, this guy's gonna win. And then like you'd see a battle and be like, nah, you'd see like thousands and thousands of points on one dude, and then like something happens in the upset, and you see everybody in the chat like losing their losing it. Like you're like, yo, it's hilarious, man. But
that's great.
On top of that, like we had a bingo board where like, how many
the bingo board
things
was great.
Is Ivan gonna say like cancel Christmas? Like,
The
Yeah,
bingo
man,
board.
it was.
I think that's what made it fun because there were so many different elements. I was watching from YouTube, so I didn't understand the betting thing. Now that you explained it, I do. But then
Yeah.
having that bingo board, dude, I was like, I was crying on some because if you've been to the battle and you've seen Ivan, because sometimes some of the battles, going back to Silverback days, right? Like, oh, is Ivan gonna do this? Like, is he gonna do a flip, or is he
Yeah,
gonna,
yeah.
you know,
Yo, he's
how many
crazy,
layers of
man.
clothing is he gonna come in?
Yeah, he's great though, man. He's like
Yeah, he is.
he's one of the best people just to be around, man.
Oh, for
Like
sure,
I
for
mean,
sure.
okay, maybe
And he
maybe too much,
remembers
but
everybody,
like
man. He remembers everybody.
yo, he really does. He really
Yeah,
does, and it's crazy. He is seriously like one of the most awesome people you will ever meet in person. It's not even like you watch him and he's awesome. Like you got to meet him in person if you
yeah,
haven't, because he's just a great person to be around,
yeah,
man. I'm always dying laughing when I'm around that dude.
yeah. No, that's great, man. Like again, people again responding here and being able to,
Oh,
you got somebody, B-Boy Chilo. He says grateful to you that even though you no longer compete today, you continue to contribute with his streams, posts on Facebook, Instagram. Thanks, bro. Hope to meet you someday.
oh,
Greets from wherever that flag is.
thanks, man. I appreciate it. I think it's
Yeah.
Sweden. I think that I'm looking at it right
I don't know
now. I'm
that.
not sure.
That's not sweet. Is it
Oh no,
Peru
no, no. Yeah, I
or
see it.
Swiss? Or...
Sorry.
No, it's all
But
good.
thanks, man. I
Sorry,
appreciate
Chilo.
it.
We'll figure it out for next time.
Yeah,
So,
but I am gonna actually. It's crazy because they says that I'm not competing anymore. It's true, I'm not competing anymore. But the reason I've been like posting clips up and everything has been because I've been practicing to start competing again. So
cool.
probably like by the end of the year, I was planning on the A Fatty Open in August, but then
Yeah.
it was 50-50 if I was gonna make it on the second day. So I was like,
Okay.
oh, do I do it or no? And then I was like, man, I'll just save it up. I'll save off from it. So. On top of that, I'm injured on my shoulder with rotator cuff, and then I just jammed my knee up again. So it's like old injuries
It's after
that are coming
30,
back.
man. It's the
They're
after
coming
30.
back to haunt me now, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is not cool, man.
Yeah. What's that process been like for you to like, was there a decision you're like, all right, I'm just ready to kind of take a break. And then, now you've been kind of training behind the scenes and you like just maybe ciphering at jams and getting back into it. Well, so what's that process been like maybe for somebody who's going through the same thing right now? Maybe they've lost
Yeah,
their
I
juice.
definitely like. I mean, so the main thing that happened was like I definitely got hit with burnout. Like, I mean, literally every single week. I mean, well, I was doing this for a living for a couple of years, so
Mm-hmm.
every single weekend, man, I was out. I was either judging, I was doing a workshop, I was teaching at camps for like a month straight. Then I would like go get flown out to like I remember the last trip I did. It was I went to China, came back. Then the week later, it was like 3 days later, I went to Japan. I came back. And then like 2 days after that, I went to Taiwan. So not only is it like nonstop back and forth, but then flights
Yeah.
also are like 19-20 hours long or something like that.
Waiting
And I
in
just
airports,
remember,
time zones.
yo,
Yeah.
I just remember sitting there on my flight back on the last flight back. And it's crazy because they're all so close together, but I guess like communication with the people wasn't working out or something. But there that flight back home, I was so burned out that I was like, man, maybe I should just go get a normal job and then break up the side. I'm not gonna lie,
It's
like
understandable, man.
I really just like I still compete, like I still competed and everything. I just kind of pulled back a little bit from like really going to every single jam because like not only was I getting burned out from it, but like I was getting bored of myself in competition. Like it takes a while to create, and like I hate going to a competition if I'm not like doing something new or like putting something new out there. And it's like I really just felt not disappointed in myself, but like, damn man, I gotta do this again. Like it's
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's a lot to like keep up. And not only that, man, but you gotta keep up kind of in a sense of like with how the community is moving as well. There's
Yeah.
certain things in the community that that is good in breaking right now that I probably will never do. Like, no offense to anybody that does this stuff, but like the whole like handstand freezing stuff where it's like we're just hitting the accent of like going from our head and hitting the accent of a song in a handstand. I will never do something like that because from when I was younger, if you were to do that in a competition, like, or a battle or a cipher battle, like, we would literally be like, yo, you just did a handstand. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
literally
yeah.
did nothing. The reason why everybody's hyping it up is because you hit the accent of a song, which is everybody basically knows most of the songs and the way that the songs are going on at this point. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so it's like, yeah, it's like part of me is like, yeah, it's like you gotta like, do I really want to bullet?
Oh, there we go.
Like, I'm sorry, yeah, my bad. I had a phone call or somebody
No
was
worries,
calling
no
me.
worries, man.
I think it was my mom. But yeah, there's like certain things where it's like, do you bite the bullet and like conform to what's happening right now just to win the jam, or do you go into the battle, don't confirm, and then just end up losing first round anyways? Like, you know, so it's like, what's the balance of it? So I've been breaking, you know, in the background the whole entire time. I think just my and then the motivation on top of it is just like, you know, you get to BC1, you do all these big jams. It's like, what's next, you know? And the only
Yeah.
thing to do is to go to the bigger competitions, which is like, once you get to the biggest competitions, it's like, what's after that? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
funny how how people are like so hard to get into BC1, which BC1 is definitely top, for me personally, top production tier of like, of the breaking like competition scene.
Yeah.
But like, people are so pressed to get into it, but it's like, once you get into it, I don't know what you're expecting, but like, mainly what I got out of it was like just a bunch of followers on like Instagram and Facebook and stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it didn't like set me off for like, you know, the next 5 years is like, I'm the BC1 champ of USA. Like, it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot more than just like getting to the highest competition of like, or getting to, yeah, like being invited to like the highest competition. Like, the scene is much more than just a big competition. You know, you can get there, but like, how are you gonna like use that and like help the community with everything? Like, what's the end goal for it? You know?
So my question for you, on just to go on that, is with the Olympics coming up. Not that it's going to replace something like a BC1, but it gives a bigger exposure to breaking. And I know there's people who have their own opinions about, you know, the
I
Olympics.
know.
Yeah, I know that
Yeah.
you, yeah.
That's
So,
why, I knew when you talked to me, like, oh, we might talk about the Olympics. I was like, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet with that.
yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. I guess what I'm meaning, like, just what you're talking about, it's like, okay, yeah, BC1 maybe is that level. And yeah, getting to the Olympics maybe for these younger kids that are coming up. So is that what it's going to be? Or is it like, oh, hey, I'm getting my exposure. I'm a B-boy, but I'm starting my own business, or I'm in the movies, or I'm just going to keep battling until I've got 100 wins under my belt. What do you think? What do
Yeah,
you think it
yeah.
is?
See, this is it's a really weird topic to talk about because the feelings are everywhere with it. Like,
Yeah.
it like it's really a divide with like, people are about it, people are not, like, aren't about it. Personally,
Right.
for me, I see both sides of it. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
understand the positive side of it and I understand the bad side of it.
Yeah.
No matter what I say, it's all skepticism. Like, it's all like, we won't know until it actually happens. Not only
Right.
that, we won't know until years after it happens, like,
Right.
if this is really gonna affect the community or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I do see the goodness. Anything that's gonna give our youth the opportunities to better themselves and to better their lives, to do this for a living, to get endorsements, like, I will always be about.
Amen.
Um,
Yeah.
the issue with it is, though, do we sacrifice the art and the creativity and the rawness and the battling and the, you know, what we grew up with for that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I understand where people are coming from both sides of it. And I know people have an answer for me no matter what I say. Somebody's gonna have an answer for me for the good side, and somebody's gonna have an answer for me for the bad side, right?
For the bad side.
So
Right,
like,
right, right. Yeah. That's how it is.
I'm like really just split in the middle of like, but no matter what, I'm about, you know, like I said, I'm about the opportunities for the youth. I will always be about it. But again, like, yeah, this whole like art side of it and the creativity side of it, this is what got me into breaking. Like the art side of it, the characters of breaking got me into breaking. Like I can go back to, you know, when I was first starting and seeing people in the scene throughout the years of like, you have people like Circus Runaways who come to a battle dressed up with like makeup all over their face. And it's like, yo, maybe they're not like breaking the way that they want to, like everybody likes, but yo, they're
Circus
their own
style,
characters.
man.
And like that was cool as hell to me. Like to see characters like that at a jam, like Freak Show. Like, yo, man, it's crazy. Like seeing seeing this dude in a dress with like makeup smeared at freestyle session on the boat, like about to enter the battle. And I'm like, yo, I don't know, man. It's just cool. It's like a video game. It's like a comic. It's like an anime. Like I grew up into comics, anime, like all that stuff. So like having this cast of characters in this community is what made me be like, this is so dope. Like all these characters, like this is what it's about. Like I want to be my own character, like in this, you know? Because what happens is when certain things start to be limited, as in like what you wear, the way that you dance, the stuff you can't do. Like I said before, like I didn't start dancing to be told what to do. Like I didn't start dancing to have a boss. So for me personally, am I about being in the Olympics? Probably not, because I didn't start breaking for that. You know what I mean? Like, but again, like this is about the youth, you know, it's not about me, you know, it's not about one person, it's about the community. Right. So it's really, that's why I'm like, kind of like, I'm conflicted on like which side to really be about, because like the art side's the most valuable thing, I think. But I know people can say like, oh, like the Olympics is gonna like appreciate the art. In a sense, I think so. But when we're, for example, I don't want to like travel too much and talk about it too much, but like a situation happened where somebody was wearing sandals at a BC1 event and people were losing it and saying it was unprofessional. I'm going to be honest, like that situation kind of is weird for me because I'll give it like this. The guy, I'll say, Nasty Ray, we have him actually coming out to judge our event, right?
Yeah,
he wore sandals in the battle, right? And people are like, yo, it's disgraceful. He's not taking it serious. It's unprofessional. Just being honest. So if we're going to take this professionally, the way that I see it is Ray got invited to BC1, which is a job. He got that gig from being his character. And his character before that gig was dancing. Yo, the dude was dancing in heels. He was dancing in sandals. He has funny stuff. He's his own character. So when he goes and he portrays
everybody
that
knows,
character,
like if you know Nasty Ray,
like when he goes, like why are people surprised? Like when he goes and portrays that character in a battle, why are people like, yo, no, you can't do that? Like, yo, that's his character. So if you're telling people not to be their character anymore or wear certain clothes, like that's a thing that's like, what is professional? Like, do I have to wear a suit? Like what? Like I'm not trying to wear a suit to dance. You know what I mean? Like I got into breaking to be free, to do what I wanted to do, to have nobody tell me what to do. You know, I understand where people are coming from when they're saying, hey, it's not professional in a certain aspect. Do I agree with it? With my explanation I just explained, it's kind of, it makes me feel like different about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's just not diving too deep into the rabbit hole. That's like the gist of it.
For sure. Yeah. Again, there's always going to be pros and cons to things. It's good that there was a test run for the youth with the Youth Olympics. And
apparently it did great. Like Flake was out there and said that when he was out there, everybody was over there watching it, and it did great.
And again, you're going to have, you know, you go into the poppin' community and this community started popping first and this one started, you know, so it's just everybody's trying, but we all come from so many different scenes. And that's, again, circling back to just kind of who you are and why I'm glad you've come on. We got, I think, about 7 minutes left, but just that you invite everybody in with your style. You invite everybody in with your streams, and that's how it should be. That's why we all got in this dance. We've all come from different experiences, just like you explained about, oh, you know, I was in the Philly suburbs and then I was able to meet these people, and it's just so cool, man. Like, it's so cool that we can all come together and be able to like make the world a better place just through some music and some dance moves.
Yep, no,
And
I 100% agree.
and
It's crazy
and
that's
and
what,
the culture is going to be there whether it succeeds in the Olympics or not.
yeah,
And
100%.
I hope it does succeed, so that it does bring people in. And I hope that, yeah, it all wins. But I'm glad that you kind of transferred into that from kind of what you've been trying to work on with your own travels, with your own dance, and moving forward.
Yeah. Nah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like certain things need to be talked about, and you know, like again, like whatever I say, it's not meant to come from like any hateful way. Like I don't hate
Right.
one side or the other side. It's just
Conversation. Yeah.
yeah, man, it's just my personal opinion. I know people don't agree with me. I know some people are going to agree with me. It is what it is. That's breaking in general. You could say the most 100% fact thing, and there's always going to be people disagreeing with you. It's
Right.
just how it is. You know, you just gotta learn to roll with the punches. I mean, luckily, like, you know, like you grow up like watching yourself on YouTube and seeing like people talking smack about you on comments. You kind of just
Right.
get used to it after a while. You're just
Yeah.
like, okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds
So
good, John.
somebody had a question. So we'll do this last question, and then you can kind of end on some inspiring words or shout outs. But somebody asked, you're adamant about biting being a no-no. Being that biting goes all the way back to the inception of breaking, is it fair to say biting is part of the culture?
Yeah, 100%. It's
Yeah.
definitely part of the culture. I mean, if I didn't break, I want to know what biting is. Like, to be honest,
Yeah.
probably. Like, if I ever talk about biting, like,
Is that a
yeah,
shark or what is
yeah.
it?
Yo, seriously. I mean, there's them like T-shirts, yeah, with like the shark like mouth on the
Right.
arm
Right.
sleeves. Yeah. It's just like it is, man. It's part of it. Am I saying like that we need to banish every single biter in the world? Like, nah, man, it's just not gonna happen. Like, there's a coincidence for a lot. Like, I honestly, if you ever watch me in a battle, it's rare that I ever throw the biter sign, because certain things are, it's just coincidence. It's gonna happen. You're gonna do
Yeah.
somebody else's stuff. Like, there's people, hundreds of thousands of people dancing all over the world, man. It's gonna happen. But it doesn't mean because when somebody brings it up to you and they're like, yo, that's not your move, here's proof of it. They've been doing it for years and years and years before you. You should probably just flip it. That's a good thing to do. And the response should never be, I don't care. I created it yesterday. I'm just going to keep
Yeah.
doing it. Like, that's the laziness that like will kind of keep the creativity in our scene at a stalemate, because nobody wants to keep going up, you know?
Right.
If I was called a biter and somebody was like, yo, look, man, somebody does this move, I'd be like, cool, I'll flip it around. I guess I gotta go back to the drawing board with it, right?
Yeah.
Because what happens when you flip it around and you make it, you add something else to it, when you actually meet that dude in the battle and he does that move, you're ready for it. You have something better and something on top of it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's strategy. It's smart to do, man. It's like, it's good for you and it's good for the community, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
That Hong 10 versus Shiga Kicks at Silverback when Shiga Kicks came out, but then Hong 10 took it back and then made it into something even doper. Like, that to me was such a cool moment. So when you're kind of explaining cool, like, that is like,
piggybacking, off of like moves like that. Like that's like, exactly. That's like something in the community that's like, it gives something, you know, it's something more than just a bland, you know, just stalemate of like, oh, you bit my move. No, I can do that move too. And that's it. You're just like, okay, what'd you guys solve with that? Nothing. Like,
right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's crazy. And it's crazy how, like, you know, we talk about this fighting thing and like, because I just posted this thing up and I'm reading like some of the comments and like, there's a lot of people that are just like, I don't care about fighting. Everybody's done everything. And to be honest, man, that phrase like needs to go, because like, if that were true, how are people still creating today? You know what I mean? Like, people are still creating today. So like, that phrase literally means nothing still. It didn't mean anything about 12 years ago when it was said, and it's probably still not meaning anything now because people are still creating, you know? That
Yeah.
depends on how you take biting is what that phrase is, you know? Like biting for that phrase is probably inspiration. Like everybody's been inspired by something. Like, okay, I can kind of see that because we're taking moves. We're inspired by moves that were done back in the day and we're putting them to our style, but we're making it our own, and that's what B-boys should be doing. B-boys and B-girls should be doing. So
Sure.
yeah.
For sure. So just to end, you know, give us kind of what you have coming up, if there's any other shout outs you want to give to people, and yeah, where people can follow, I guess, your Twitch and whatever. So
Yeah, I have yeah, I'll first get the Twitch out of the way. Twitch, so I do live streams now on like live events. I'm gonna probably transfer over to do like live streams and then like probably a chill day for like questions and answers. I get like Q&As like or questions in my like DMs all the time.
yeah.
And I never answer them. I'm really sorry, guys, but like the events are so long and like people end up starting to talk in there. And either way,
Yeah.
I'll end up making like a day like throughout like the month to like answer all of them.
Cool.
But schedules, like I usually keep everybody ahead of time. It's usually once or twice a week I'll go on. All the big events I usually cover. Twitch.tv/DOMkey, if you guys need to, you can go to my Instagram too. It's just DOMkey, wherever, you know, on here. And then I usually have all my links and stuff posted up there. On top of that, we have the Lions of Zion anniversary, the 25th anniversary coming up next week. Is it next week already?
25th, yeah.
Yeah.
It is, man. Yeah.
Man, real fast.
Next Saturday. So if you're
Yeah,
in
next-
the DMV
DC.
area.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the DC area next Saturday. It's a one-on-one for $2,000. It's part of an art festival. So there's a bunch of stuff happening there. Like the anniversary is like just part of it, but there's a bunch of stuff happening around the whole entire festival. So it's gonna be super dope. If you guys know us, we like to chill. We like to just have a good time and party. So yeah, we have Jerry Metal, Kate, and Nasty Ray that are gonna be judging. So that'll be dope. Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, man. I really appreciate your time and coming on and speaking with me, and yeah, giving people a little bit of observation into your world, and look forward to the streams, man. So
no problem, thanks for having
whatever
me,
we
man.
can do
to
push it. Yeah.
Yeah, man, dude, that'd be super awesome. I super appreciate everything, man.
No doubt. Good luck with the anniversary, and yeah, have a good night.